Hey, g'day. Welcome back to another episode or Let's Play on Graveyard Keeper. In the last episode, we just started off right at the beginning of the Let's Play with the start of the tutorial to come through. And we started probably the first half of the week and spoke to the NPCs associated with that week, plus a couple of other NPCs around that cycle as well. In this Let's Play, we're going to finish the rest of the week. Talk to the new NPCs that we haven't met yet and start working on fixing the graveyard. So we particularly want to try and get the church open and get +5 and see how close we can get it into the first cycle, which I don't think we're going to meet it in the first cycle, but we'll definitely show you probably try and get the quickest way of getting your church to +5. So let's just jump straight into it. One of the things we didn't talk about is now that when you look at your characters, you've got the perks, and you'll find that this will fill up as you get more perks. Your technologies have definitely opened up a little bit more now. You've certainly got your atomy and alchemy. You've certainly now opened up the theology, where you can work on a few tombstones and graveyards. Your books are not opening. Your garden has now opened with an opportunity, and it's opened up so you can see all of them when it comes to gardening. Smithing, which is opened up as well, and also building. The last one we've got is cookery, and cookery is a little bit different. Cookery doesn't have it like a tree, and you cannot open these, but it will certainly show you dishes. There doesn't seem to be a cycle in the fact that each line represents, maybe I'm wrong, fish dishes or bread or bakery dishes or so forth, but it will just open up as we go along, and we've started to get a few points itself. NPCs are there, and it will give you a recap of certainly what items you need to complete the certain quests, and the map has certainly opened up quite a bit as well. As we've walked around, we've seen the fishing spots. We've now spoken to all the NPCs here. As we said, we know that there's an NPC as well as our iron to the left. We have to fix the bridge, and we know that the lighthouse is here, and we need to see the NPC as part of the lighthouse. The other NPC we've got is the Inquisitor, which will be during this cycle as well. So let's get straight into it. So we're lucky here, we get a bit of a breather with the Cultist Day. But then we've got the Inquisitor, and then we've got the Astrologer, and then we've got Sunday. So we've got a busy 3 days to complete our full cycle. So let's jump straight into it. Two things that we can do is we can jump in here and start opening up these. And I can't remember, it does, a recipe. So right click use, and we create baked mushrooms and baked apples. Just drop the flour in here. We don't need it too much at the moment. We do have our health potion. Drop our nails and our wood in here. We don't need them too much. And let's make our way over to the church. Before we do that, we've got the crafting table here on the left hand side. We've got a few things that we can build. Obviously we can build our furnace, and this will help us with some of the wood and stuff that we need to collect as well. So trunks, we don't need the trunks to start off with. I think that's fine. Timber stockpile and stone stockpile, increase the yard, is not something we need at the moment. So probably the furnace is something that we would have, but it's not overly important because we're not going to be smelting any iron probably in this early stage. But as we collect stones, so the stones are not something that it's a die-hard that you need to collect. To open up your other ones, if you go to smithing and lumber, this will allow things such as the sawhorse and sawmill, the firewood. As you can see here, by going through wood, you need to get to here on woodworking. That will give you a carpenter's bench to allow you to do wood repair kits, and stoneworking to give you the stone repair kits. Each of those kits will need nails, and as I said, the nails you can buy from the blacksmith at the early stages. What we are going to do is we're going to use our repair kits, and we're going to start working on, whilst we've got a spare day, on repairing our graveyard. easiest thing, first of all, get rid of the trees. And then repair some of the graveyards or the great tombstones and that as well. So with your repair kits that you've got, it will not repair all. You will need to build some more repair kits. So the ones that I'd recommend is, first of all, these little ones will give you, out of possible 2, what you want to do is have a look at the stones. For instance, this one here is only going to give you a +1. But as you can see here, the +1 will, I mean, it will just sort of add to the changes. You'll find that when you're actually using the repair kits, so if I click on this one for the repair kit, you'll see that it's actually going to use 2 to repair the actual gravestone itself. So moving in that, repair it. You've used 2 of your 4 opportunities. Now your 2, you've brought the graveyard back to 0. Everything just to help. All right, so we've got a little bit of a disruption, and the disruption is our little friend there. We now want to, he's dropped off a body, which allows you to put some more and therefore get some more money. But what we were actually, I would recommend to look at these soft spares here for extracting the fat and extracting blood. So we're 1 green short, and the easiest way to get green, just to get you up easily, is probably to get a mushroom. There we go. Takes us to 10, and then I would recommend getting this as your very first one. So click on that, and this will make sense now that we're doing the autopsy. So remembering we're also running short a little bit of time. Now we've got a fair bit of time before we see the Inquisitor. Now that we can do the autopsy, we've got a couple of options. We've already got 2 whites here. So the maximum that we could potentially get with this body, if it all goes well, is 3 whites. So it's not a very good body, but at least we can get 3 whites and 3 reds. I would recommend, if you haven't already, go to the Graveyard Keeper Wikipedia. I can put the link, or I will put the link in the down below, and that will help with a couple of things. So when you're under the Graveyard Keeper Wikipedia, go to the section which denotes morgue, and in that, it will show you, or will recap what each of the parts do. So different body parts have different effects on the body. I'm not going to go through each of them now because we haven't opened up all the opportunities. But definitely look at the Wikipedia to remind. I still, even today, use the Wikipedia just to remind me of what each of the body parts do. The 2 easiest ones that I remember are blood and fat, and what they will do is they will remove 1 red skull and replace it with 1 white skull. In the early game though, you have an opportunity for what they call surgeon mistakes, which what it actually does is you do not have 100% chance that when you extract blood or you extract the fat or the bones, whatever it may be, of not creating a surgical error. By doing a gentle butcher, it will reduce this to make sure that you have less of a chance of making surgical error, and obviously once you get surgery, I think that reduces it even more. So let's go back and reduce the blood and cross our fingers that it's going to work well. So blood, extract blood. And in this case here, we had a surgical mistake. So what it hasn't done is it hasn't stuffed it up, but now we can actually try and do the fat and see if it actually works. All right, a good demonstration of 2 bad mistakes. Okay, so I did get the parts, but I've got 2 surgeon mistakes. Just a bad RNG roll, or maybe it's part of the game to sort of show you. So we've still got 2 white skulls. There's no sense in actually doing the flesh itself. By doing the flesh is just going to create yourself another red skull. So we're going to take the body, which will at least give us a positive, and it will give us 1.5 silver. This body though, you will be exhuming at a later stage. Now we've already got a hole in the ground which is giving us a -2. So let's drop that in there. Get our stone. I think we've already got we got a cross. We can drop that in there. No change, because the next thing we need to do is repair it. Okay, so, and it's given us a +1, taking us down there. And that is the end, unfortunately, of our wooden repair kit. So now we're just going for stone repair kit. So we'll do the same thing. So let's have a look at, that's not a good body, that's sort of 0. Whoops, sorry. Try and turn left, that is a 0. Oh, terrible. Okay, so this one's a bit of a positive one. This will allow us to actually improve the gravestone here. Unfortunately not the bottom one. So we'll fix this grave. And we got +3, so that's taking us to -14. So we've got repair kits that we need to use, as well as we've got the grass around the area itself. So I am now going to head, because it's the Inquisitor day, looking at the Inquisitor. And the best way to find the Inquisitor is, as we walk, Jerry's going to pop up. Okay, so we have to listen to him and his hate for the Inquisitor. Keep on heading east, which is Witch Hill, and we'll be able to see the Inquisitor itself. So keep on going. It's not hard to miss because you've got the gate, and here he comes. So it doesn't matter what time of the day you go in there. The Inquisitor, for the first day, the Inquisitor is going to be down here. After this, the Inquisitor will actually be on top of Witch Hill. So, calm down, guys. He's the graveyard keeper. The Inquisitor will talk to yourself. Once you're going out there, you tell them that you're the graveyard keeper. I haven't tried the other one. I'm sure that's fine as well, that you know the bishop. And agree to going to the witch burning ceremony, and you'll automatically follow him. It is interesting. He'll then ask you 3 questions. You tell him about the real world, you lie, or you dodge. Now, I've lied, and that works. Let's try the dodge. And it goes through. I'll find out what, alright. So either of them, I haven't tried the telling the truth, but you know what? So far no one's jumped down your throat or tried to burn you when you've sort of said. So he talks about the ship of the dead in the town, and the fact that they're getting more witches than ever to burn them. So lighting up 2 in 1 year. It's a big year for witch burning at the moment. So watch the witch. There's a few Monty Python fans here, so we'll have a few here. They'll burn the witch. Wait for it to finish. So, now the Inquisitor will give you a couple of quests. Agree to be his friend. So with the friend, he will now give you a couple of quests. So a couple of tasks for you. The first one is he will not give you the quest now. He will request for you to come back in 1 cycle. So it's important that you remember to see him during the next cycle, because if you miss him, he's only here. If you miss him on the cycle, you have to wait an entire cycle of 6 more days before you can see him again. Alright, so that's the end of the witch burning. You can have a quick look around. This is your portal, and as you can see with the portal, it does look like that the portal will cycle through not 6 as you have in your map, but 7. There's a symbol here that is now denoting a different symbol. which is not on your map. A couple of other things you've got is you have a small marble quarry here, but you don't have the opportunity to open the marble quarry. You have a house over here, and I'm not going to sort of give away any spoilers, but the house will be explained later on in the game. And if you keep on heading down this way, you've got a nice little vineyard that is here, but it's not, as much as you can fix the items, you cannot use it at this stage in the game. But it will give you an option. Oh, okay, you may be able to use it, but you'll find later on the ability to use it will become clear, and that will allow you to grow grapes and hops in order to make wine and beer. Each of those things you can sell. Not only can you sell, you can also use them to give you extra buffs and bonuses as well. So I'm just going to grab these berries that you can use for cooking. Whilst we wait for the donkey to come in, we will collect the donkey, and then we'll cycle through to today. And that is the end of the day, but we will, hopefully we've got enough energy to last. If not, we can just eat some berries very quickly. We'll sleep tomorrow because we would need to see the lighthouse keeper tomorrow. If we're fortunate, and I can actually have a quick look here. No. You will be, once you've been to the lighthouse, you will be able to use the teleport stone to head backwards and forwards from the lighthouse, which makes it very handy. So same thing, we've got one red, so let's hope the surgery is a little bit better. Extract the blood. Oh, are you kidding me? Alright, I'm taking it. There you go, 3 white skulls. So in this stage of the game, that's probably a perfect body to keep. That being said, 3 white skulls is not enough to get you overly excited throughout the late game, where you're sort of looking towards around 10 white skulls, I think is the maximum you can get in late game. So let's make ourselves some areas here. There we go, and we've got our 0, but more importantly, we've got 3 white. So what it does mean is we can easily put some tombstones and some borders on there, and that will give us a positive 3. Let's get some sleep and wake up waiting for the next day. Now, 2 things. As I said, you can focus 100% on getting your +5, which means that you can open up your church during the next Sunday, which is effectively going to be tomorrow. At this stage here, we're not going to be able to open it tomorrow because we're not going to get to 5 in the sort of the short amount of time we've got. But what we have done is we've opened up and we've spoken to every NPC, and that starts us off in a good start. So this is how I start the game, but obviously now you have the freedom to make the choices that you want, and if you just want to focus on opening the church and having it ready by the first cycle, you can clearly do that as well. Head this way, we've still got a bit of time. At the same time here, you can jump in. Not all the apples you can do it. Someone told me before it's where there's 2 apples on the ground. But I don't know if that's true. It might be true. Let's try this one. 2 apples on the ground. There you go. So you can only get apples from trees that have 2 apples on the ground, not 1 apple. But here we go. We've got 2 here. We've got the astrologer, and we've also got the lighthouse keeper. So speak to the astrologer first, since he's only here during daylight hours. Alright, so once you've spoken to the actual graveyard keeper itself, he wants a skull. Okay, now understandably, when you've opened, and I can't open it up now, when you've done your first task, you didn't collect a skull. Alright, so we can't do anything more with here. You can talk to him. He will not actually trade with you until you actually give him a skull. As we said before, now you can use here, and the lighthouse is now available for you to teleport back. So you're going to have to wait a full cycle. The skull is available up here, and we just need a couple more red. The red is going to be easy to get, just need to chop down some trees, just need to build some stuff. So by this time next week, you will have that skull. We could have potentially maybe sped it up a little bit and therefore opened up both of these and got the skull and came with a skull for him. But one cycle is not going to kill us. The next gentleman we have up here is the Lighthouse Keeper. The Lighthouse Keeper is also fond of fishing. So he will teach you some cooking recipes that you've opened up, and they will be from fish. What he will also do is he will give you a rod if you give him 6 moths, I think it is. Yep, 6 moths, and he'll give you a free rod. To get your moths, it's actually way down. So you go to Farming and Nature, it's right down here, and I would say, especially with the blue, it's not something I would waste on early in the game. So the other way is you can buy a fishing rod off of them for 2 silver when you're ready to fish. Remembering at the beginning, at the top of the map, you've got a quest there that if you give him a silver fish fillet, I think it's this guy here at the camp, he will give you some recipes as well. So when you think you've got enough money, then definitely just use your silver to go buy a fishing rod. It's only 2 silver, so that would be fine. So how much space have we got? We've got plenty of space. We're going to use this, but we're only actually just going to go to the dead horse. And the reason for that is I want to buy some seeds. All right, welcome back, and it's raining. Okay, so I've now planted all my crops. It doesn't really matter where you put them. This is the size of your farm. You will need to leave some big areas for things like trunks. I think the trunks appear here, so there is a set area for your trunks. Also, in order to make some peat for fertilizer and so forth, it is quite a big space, and I normally put them down here as well. I've put my beets here, carrots here, cabbage here, and our wheat here. Once again, it doesn't matter how you do it. You can do it like a dog's breakfast. You can throw stuff everywhere. It's nothing like about your soil. You don't need to keep the items together. I just do it for a little bit of planning. At the moment, I'm growing them simply to meet the requests of the merchant. But I did notice that these were available, so we're going to harvest these, and this will give you crop waste, carrot seeds, as well as your carrots themselves. So what we're talking about, it will give you your carrots. We've got 16 carrots and 2 lots. It'll give you some crop waste, and it will give you seeds, but it gives you less seeds to be able to plant all of them again. So you can plant 1 lot, but it didn't give us 8, so you're going to constantly buy seeds to replenish to come up. So let's throw these in here. Keep the crop waste, do not throw it away. Keep your seeds, and let's drop the other things. So berries in there, carrots can eat, mushrooms, apples, and oil is going to be a quest item. So we're just going to keep this by the side of the bed. I'm going to use the opportunity while it's still nighttime a little bit to try and get a little bit of shut-eye, and then we'll wake up the next morning. Now, that is the end of your first cycle. So it has been a sort of a 2-part series to get into the first cycle. I'm just going to pause it there while we're talking. That is, you have now seen, if you followed this tutorial and moved through quite quickly, you have now seen every NPC less snake who is available on their given day. There are a couple of more NPCs to see. There is a lady that sells you clay. There is the witch, but the clay and the witch, those individuals are available during the daytime on every day. So you can see them on any particular day. You're not forced to see them. So the important part of the game now is to make sure that you look at a day in advance and if you want to follow those particular quest lines, make sure you're prepared to have the item for that particular quest, because if you miss them, if you miss that day, then you have to wait an entire cycle, which is probably maybe 20 minutes of game time, 20 or 30 minutes of game time, before you get an opportunity to see him again. So it can be a little bit frustrating, especially if that quest then leads you onto another quest with a different NPC. So the rest of these Let's Plays will now focus, or not particularly on the church, but on a series of how to try and do some of the quests to move on. Now, you can play the game any way you want. You can focus 100% on the church. You don't have to do the quests in any particular order. Obviously, there's some orders that will make things easier, and they'll open up certain schematics, not only for food, but certain schematics for collecting items. And we'll show you those as we go through the Let's Play. So let's continue. All right, and this is Sunday, so the aim of today is to try and get to 5. If we don't, it's not a deal breaker. It just means the church won't be open until one more day, which is frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. Now we want to... Oh, we've still got one more flitch there. We will do one repair kit. We will do some graves. We need more planks. As you can see, we're getting tons of reds here. So this will also get us up the things that we need to sort of slowly get. So now let's tidy this up. So we will be back once we try and tidy this graveyard. Welcome back, and we just missed out. We ran out of energy. And we just needed a little bit more to repair. Perhaps another repair tool would have done it. Oh, I've got no more energy, or else I could drop that on there. So that is a shame. It means that we're going to have to go another cycle before we can repair it. But we're going to use that opportunity to do that. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the Let's Play. Missed it by that much. Probably missed it by about 10 minutes, I think. So in hindsight, yes, maybe I could have done a few little things. I think the Inquisitor was probably the one that I could have probably missed the Inquisitor, which isn't a biggie. The Inquisitor doesn't have a big play in the first part of the game, so in hindsight, I think I probably wouldn't do the firewood for the Inquisitor. But anyway, that's what it is, and therefore the church would have been open and we would have started that cycle. But thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the likes or the subscribe, and we will see you for the next one, part 3 of Graveyard Keeper. All right, thank you.